Hi there. This is a lesson on the Pythagorean Theorem and the reason we have it. Uh, okay, here is the Pythagorean Theorem. I'm just going to write it down. Okay, what the Pythagorean Theorem says is if I have a right triangle, a triangle with a 90-degree angle, so you have to have a right triangle. Okay, if I have any two sides, I can find the third side using the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, some nomenclature for the triangle. Okay, you have legs of a right triangle and you have a hypotenuse. If you go directly opposite your right angle, this will be your hypotenuse. Okay, the other two sides that are not the hypotenuse are called the legs. So we call this one a leg, and this other side we call a leg. And we use letters to designate these sides. So this side, it doesn't matter which leg you call A or which leg you call B, but okay, usually it's A, B, and then the hypotenuse is always C. So those are the letter designations for the hypotenuse. And the formula for it, or the formula I guess you could call it, is A squared. So your side squared, or your leg squared, plus your other leg squared will equal your hypotenuse squared. Okay, let's use this triangle here to see how we use this. Alright, so side A is 6 meters. So we'd write this as 6 squared. So we replace A with 6. Plus, our other leg, we don't know. We have a variable x for that. So we call it x squared. And we say this is equal to c squared, which is our hypotenuse. In this case is 16 meters. So we write 16 squared. Alright, so here is our formula with all the missing parts filled in. So one of our legs we filled in and our hypotenuse filled in. So we got to find the other leg, our x value. So to do that, okay, we just simplify our terms of our equation. This is what you normally do when you're working with equations. You simplify first. So 6 squared is, if you think about it, 6 times 6 is 36. Plus, we don't know what x squared is. We're trying to find that. Equals 16 times 16, which is, well, 16 times 16, multiply, 6 times 6 is 6, carry the 3, 6 times 1 is 6, 96. Okay, you got to put a 0 here as a placeholder. 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1. So 6 plus 0 is 6, 6 plus 9 is 5, and we carry the 1, gives us 256. So 16 squared is 256. Alright, we have an equation still. I want to get my variable by itself. That's always our goal with equations. So I'm going to try and get rid of this 36. Okay, it's a positive 36, and I'm adding it to x squared. So to undo this, we subtract 36 to get rid of it. Well, when I do that, I have to come over here to this side of the equation. Those have two sides of an equal sign. And I have to subtract 36 over here. Well, the result is x squared will equal 256 minus 36. 6 minus 6 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. And we have 2 left over. So 220. Now, okay, we would like to get x by itself with just x, not x squared. So to undo a square, Okay, to get rid of the x squared, or get rid of the square rather, okay, we take the square root. If I take the square root of this side, it becomes just x. I reached my goal. But when you do one thing to one side of the equation, you got to come over here and do the same thing. So now I want to find the square root of 220. So what I do is, suppose I'm not really good at mental math, then I come down here to my calculator, or any calculator, and I try to find the square root button. On this one, it's right here above the x squared. It's blue, so I want to do a calculator, so I add a calculator, and I go to control and square root, and I put in 220, and I hit enter, and I get x is approximately equal to 14.8324. Okay, remember this symbol means approximately equal to. Alright, so now I'm almost done. I just have to follow the instructions that were given to me. And it says, find the missing side of each triangle, round the answer to the nearest tenth. So I'll round this answer to the nearest tenth. So I look at my number, and the tenth spot, T-E-N-T-H, is right here at the 8. If I want to round that, I look to the right, and I see that there's a 3. If this number is 5 or above, then I'll round this up to 9. If it's 4 or below, it stays. So this is going to stay. It's going to stay at x will approximately equal to 14.8. And they're meters. So I write meter. Alright, so that's the Pythagorean theorem in a nutshell. And you should be doing this on the accompanying worksheet, the worksheet that accompanies this. And you have up to problem 6 are problems like this. I'll do one more with you just so that you know what to do. And they're all pretty much like this, where you're missing one of the legs. All the next 4 of them anyhow, up to problem 6. Alright, so let's clear this off. If you need to pause this, pause it to copy this down, or to rewind if you need to find out what you need to find out if you missed anything. So I'm going to clear this. And I'm actually going to go to problem number 6, okay, which is a little bit different than the other ones. Alright. And it's not going to go up. Dang, okay. Okay, I can't see it. Nuts. Alright. Let me pause this. Uh-oh. Oh, how do I pause this? Oh, that's okay. Alright, so let me... Alright, I want to look at number 6, because it's a little bit different than problems up to number 5. Okay, this one we have both of our legs and we don't have our hypotenuse. We'd like to find our hypotenuse. And actually this is the answer in simplest radical form. I want to write this as a decimal though. So I want to see how they got square root of 265 here for x. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So Pythagorean theorem tells me if I take one leg, add it to another leg squared, it should equal my hypotenuse squared. It's supposed to. And hey, I have a leg here, which is, okay, so my hypotenuse. Always find your hypotenuse first. There's my hypotenuse. So I'm going to replace c with x squared. Okay, and over here I'm going to replace my two legs with these two legs. Now which one should I put in A? Which one should I put in B? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one you do. So I'm going to put 11 squared here, and I'm going to put 12 squared here. Alright, so 11 squared is going to equal 121. 12 squared is going to equal 144. And we want to find x squared. Add these together. 121 plus 144 is going to be 5. 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 4 is... Let me clear this up. Burp. Alright, so 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Is equal to x squared. Alright, so, hey, there's nothing wrong with putting this in your calculator. But, okay, before we do that though, okay, remember we gotta get rid of this square, so I take the square root, and I take the square root of this side. So now you can see where they came up with the square root of 265, and that it's not, this is in simplest radical form. And we'll talk about simplest radical form some other lesson. For right now, we just want to use the Pythagorean theorem, and we want to round this to the nearest tenth. So to do that, I use my calculator. And I come over here, and I put in square root of 265. So in this calculator, you go control x squared, which gives us the square root symbol, and inside I put 265. And then I enter, and it gives me an approximate answer. It's not an exact answer, but it's a very good approximate. And so then I write the missing side, which is, so I say x, now since it's not exactly equal to, I say it's approximately equal to. It's approximately equal to 16.2788. Alright, and they want us to round this to the nearest tenth. So if I round this to the nearest tenth, okay, I look at my tenth spot, T-E-N-T-H, which is the 2. Then I look directly to the right, and I see it's above, 5 or above, so if it's 5 or above, I round this 2 to a 3. So my answer here is x is going to be approximately equal to 16.3 feet. Okay, so on this worksheet you've seen two examples. You've seen an example of if you're missing a leg, how you find the missing leg, and here you have the hypotenuse missing, and how you find the hypotenuse that if you're missing it. Alright, so the worksheet that accompanies this, I want you to do all of that, bring it into school and show me how you did it, or show me your results. You can see here, here's the answers. What I'm interested in is your work. Show me your work. Have a good day. Bon appetit.